Good afternoon, my Real News Midday TV family. Welcome back to the channel for another news update for Saturday, September 13, 2025. And in the news this afternoon, alleged car thief killed in shootout with police in St. Elizabeth. An alleged car thief was killed during a gun battle and high-speed chase between Malvern and Southampton in St. Elizabeth, moments after he and his cronies stole a Toyota Voxy in the Portsea district on Saturday morning. Police and relatives named the suspect as Mark Allen, a resident of Schoolfield near Malvern. Head of the St. Elizabeth Police, Superintendent Coleridge Minto, in a video release, said the situation started about 3:20 a.m. when the police were informed of the motor vehicle theft and a shooting with intent in Upper Portsea.
Coleridge Minto, Superintendent of Police, Divisional Commander. About 3:20 a.m., the police received reports of a larceny of a Toyota Voxy motor vehicle and a shooting with intent which took place in the Upper Portsea community. The police responded and the said Toyota Voxy as well as a Toyota Axia motor car were seen traveling in the Malvern area. Police pursued, and during the pursuit, armed men fired at the police. The Voxy crashed in the Southampton area. Several men alighted and fired at the police. The police took evasive action and returned the fire. One man was shot and injured and was taken to the Black River Hospital where he was pronounced dead. The Toyota Axio motor car also crashed along the Southampton main road. The men escaped from this vehicle. It must be noted that this is the third vehicle that has been reported stolen in the Malvern space over the last several weeks. All three vehicles have been recovered. I want to assure the citizens of Malvern and surrounding communities and by extension parish that the police will continue our efforts to ensure that those who are committing criminal activities are brought to justice. At this time, the police are still in the area searching for the additional men who ran from the Voxy and the Toyota Axio. And so we appeal to anyone in this community who may see any strange person moving about to alert the police at 119 or the nearest police station.
Alleged teacher killer to return to court in November. Delroy Palmer, otherwise called the Swag Boss, and the Basco, who is facing the court for the murder of schoolteacher Angela Angie Hamilton of Pear Tree Grove, St. Mary, will remain behind the bars until his next court date on November 6. Hamilton was killed in January this year. Palmer, a 31-year-old laborer, appeared in the St. Mary Parish Court on Thursday. According to police reports, during an investigation, DNA evidence linked Palmer to the crime scene. He was arrested in August during a police operation in Harmony Hall in Highgate, St. Mary. Hamilton, who was the principal of Richmond Hill Basic School, was found with several stab wounds at her home in Pear Tree Grove. The deceased, who lived alone, had recently returned home from a first-time trip overseas where she had visited her daughter. A family friend visited the home of Hamilton after phone calls to her cellular phone went unanswered and discovered her body in a section of the house in a pool of blood. Palmer is said to be known by the deceased as she had taught him in basic school. Police reports also indicated that Palmer had a criminal record. Miss Hamilton's murder was the first recorded murder for the parish of St. Mary this year. Manchester store clerk charged with larceny as a servant. A Manchester store clerk who allegedly confessed to stealing more than $200,000 from his employer is said to appear in court on September 17 to answer to the charge of larceny as a servant. Charged is 25-year-old Janoy McGregor of Beltline District in Daly's Grove, Manchester. Reports from the Newport police are that about 9 a.m. on Wednesday, September 3, McGregor allegedly entered an office at his workplace in Newport Square, Manchester, and took $270,250 from a cash van without a permission. The owner reportedly realized that the cash was missing and reported the incident to the police. Following an investigation into the matter, McGregor was taken into custody on Monday, September 8. He was charged on September 11 after he reportedly confessed to taking the cash during an interview in the presence of his attorney. McGregor is scheduled to appear in the Manchester Parish Court. St. Andrew man charged after police recover stolen Mercedes-Benz. A St. Andrew man has been charged with burglary, receiving stolen property, and the larceny of a motor vehicle following the recovery of a stolen Mercedes-Benz motorcar on September 7. Charged is 27-year-old Sean Benjamin, otherwise called Suggs, a landscaper of Temple Hall, Stonehill in St. Andrew. Reports from the Halfway Tree police are that Benjamin was found in possession of a Mercedes-Benz motorcar in Junction, St. Andrew, after the motorcar had been reported stolen the day before. According to investigators, the owner reported that after retiring to bed about 11:30 p.m. on Friday, September 5, she woke the next morning to find the motorcar and the several high-end cellular phones, including an iPhone 15 Pro Max, valued at US $1,700, missing from her Wellington Drive, Kingston 6 home. Benjamin's court date is being finalized as investigators continue to probe the case. Stray cattle danger still lurking on Williamsfield leg of Highway 2000. A day before the 2-year anniversary for the opening of the Maypen to Williamsfield leg of Highway 2000, danger still lurks with the cattle straying onto the high-speed road. This as a woman had to be rushed to hospital in the wee hours on Saturday after cattle strayed onto the highway shortly after midnight, causing extensive damage to 2 vehicles, namely a Toyota Axio and a Toyota Tacoma, and injuring occupants. Preliminary reports are that the Tacoma hit a cow standing in the eastbound lane, meters away from the toll gate toll plaza. Moments after, the Axio hit the cattle, resulting in extensive damage to the vehicle and the injury to the woman. She was taken from the vehicle by motorists and transported to hospital, while the man who was driving the Tacoma sustained minor injuries. The limping man, while waiting for the police to arrive at the crash scene, told the news that he was on his way to the Norman Manley International Airport to pick up his wife when the crash happened. The injured cattle still continued moving along the highway after the crash and they ventured into the westbound lane, where some died. It is unclear as to whether the cattle were hit by another vehicle in the westbound lane. A motorist who requested anonymity said while there have been improvements since the highway was opened on September 14, 2023, the stray cattle remain a concern. It was worse than this. You would see cattle here even in the day. You don't see them as much now, but the challenge still remains, as you can see what happened in this crash, she said. Animal hazard signs were erected along the roadway, even as motorists continue to utilize the Maypen to Williamsfield leg of Highway 2000 toll-free, as the toll implementation is yet to happen. Guys, thank you for watching. See you this evening at 6 p.m. for another news update.